All right, so today the first movement that we're going to talk about is going to be the squat. And I'm going to show you a few clips that have basic squat techniques. We're not talking about putting yourself underneath any weight. These are simply what's known as air squats, but it's the same movement that you do when you sit down in a chair. I've got a chair, I've got a little higher chair, and then still even higher than that. So let's take a look at these clips, and I'll be right back with you. All right, here we are. Jill is about to do a squat. Normal squat. Now, a stance that if I was to draw a line down her shoulders, then that's where I'm going to want, down the outside of her shoulder cap, basically, right in this area right here, all the way down, that's where I'm going to want to put her heels. Toes are slightly angled out, and as she goes down into another squat, you're going to notice that her knees right here go in the same direction that her toes go in. What she's not allowing it to happen is to allow what's called a valgus knee, where it falls in. So if she could slightly pull one knee in where it be back, there you go. So you see the direction that knee's going in and out, just like that. And so as she goes down into a squat, you're going to notice that if this is where her hip is to start with, when she descends, it's going to go way back into the other side of the frontal plane, okay? So right now she's in it. Her first movement is going to be such that it's not straight down with the hip, it's back, and then I'm going to descend down, okay? So she's going to go ahead and get into a squat again, and you'll see the end result. Now you see how far displaced she is from there, and if she stands up, you'll see it evolve back into the frontal plane. First off, the main focus is that we're going to be pushing through our heels, and we want to, as much as we can, we want to have our strength driving through our heels, our weight sending back into the heels. Send our hips back and our knee goes slightly forward. Okay, great. So we've learned the technique of a squat. We've seen what it's supposed to look like without a chair, without any object below us, without any guide or anything of that nature. How do we apply that to sitting down? I'm going to kind of be at an angle. Here's a chair. I'm going to be at an angle to the camera so that you can see the techniques that we've talked about prior, how they come into play when I sit down into a chair. So I'm going to back up to it. All right, I can feel the chair on the back of my calves, if you will. And from there, I'm going to look down. My feet are a little bit, maybe shoulder width, maybe a bit wider. And what I'm going to look to do is make sure that my feet are in that slightly angled out position. I'm sitting back on my heels. The first movement, I'm going to take this hip joint and I'm going to send it back. I'm not dropping straight down to where my knees project forward. My hip goes back, and then I'm going to, so it's back and down, okay? So my hip's going to go back, then I'm going to sit into the chair. And I'm going to aim my hips, aim my butt back into the back of the chair. So it's going to want to go from here to this area right here. This is what that looks like, all right? I'm at a chair. My feet are like I like it. I can feel that. I can feel my heels. We're good. We do the hips back and we descend. Now, off tension, on tension. I'm going to stand back up. The direction that I want to do is I want to feel my heels. I want to make sure that my feet are the proper width apart and that my knees are going in the direction of my toes. When I sat down, I wanted to make sure by sending my hips back, my knees did not go forward. So I was taking care of that. Well, this time my hips are already back, so that should be pretty good, but I want to make sure that they stay that way, and I can help do that by driving my heels down into the ground, okay? So I come on tension, I'm going to rock forward where I was back here. I'm going to rock forward ever so slightly to get my center of mass above my heels. And all I'm going to do is drive through and stand up. Okay, so here I am at a little taller object, maybe a little higher seat, if you will. Same principle applies. That was where I originally started. This is where I'm going to now. I want you to kind of stay active as much as you can, keeping this chest up and sit. And there we are. You'll notice that my knees are still going in the direction of my toes. My toes are going out slightly, not Mary Poppins or anything of that nature. We're just out naturally, just like that. Driving through my heels. How do I get back up? Come on tension. I don't have a backrest, so I really didn't come too far off tension, but regardless, coming off tension to on tension, tighten up, drive through the heels, hips up and forward. All right, so I've got the highest platform that I've got in here. I'm only going to go down ever so slightly. That may be as far as you need to go. It doesn't matter. The technique is all the same, whether it's a really low squat, a medium squat, or a higher squat. If it's a low chair, like a soft couch that you might sink into, or a hard, firm, rigid chair, I'm going to go back. And oh look, there, that's as far as I can go with this one. When you've gotten really good at sitting down and standing back up, maybe we can ratchet the intensity up ever so slightly. And how we do that is as you go down to your seat, you still have a seat underneath you, so you can be cautious with that and feel comfortable with that. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually go down to whatever level. It might be the high one, it might be the low one, or somewhere in between. I'm going to go down and I'm going to engage all the techniques, still the same, but what I'm looking to do is go down, touch, not commit to the seat, not ever come off tension, anything of that nature, and not really commit my weight into the seat before rising back up. There. The movement is completed when your hip comes open. What I mean by that, as I stand here, my hips are open. As I stand here right now, my hips aren't open. I'll show you from the side. Hips are open, hips are not open. All right? So I'm down, commit to the chair, turn back on, drive through my heels, and I'm done. You see the hips open up. That's what I'm looking to get. By opening up the hip here, I take tension off of my lower back. Even for a split second, if I'm going to do another rep, but that split second will make all the difference in the world, and we want to make sure we take care of that, be mindful of it, and engage that opening hip to finish off the movement. All right? Cool.